When you think about cybersecurity incidents, you'll notice a common theme. Attackers rarely break through defenses using unknown tactics. Instead, they often exploit known vulnerabilities, the ones sitting unpatched or unmanaged. As a security leader, your job is not just to react to vulnerabilities, but to build a repeatable system for handling them efficiently and continuously. Vulnerability management isn't just a technical task, it's a business process. You are helping the organization reduce risk, maintain trust, and ensure operational continuity. To manage vulnerabilities effectively, you must think of it as a continuous cycle, not a one-time project you complete and forget. Vulnerability management is an ongoing discipline that demands consistent attention and action. You will move through 5 key phases, each one critical to building a strong and proactive program. In the discovery phase, you begin by identifying all assets across your environment and scanning them for vulnerabilities. You cannot protect what you don't know exists, so asset discovery is your critical first step. Without an accurate, up-to-date inventory, every other step becomes compromised. Next comes assessment, where you evaluate the vulnerabilities you uncover. You need to look beyond surface-level findings and assess each vulnerability based on severity, likelihood of exploitation, asset importance, and exposure to the internet or critical systems. This phase demands judgment, not just blind reliance on scanner outputs. Then, you move into prioritization. Not all vulnerabilities are created equal, and you must be disciplined about where you focus your efforts. Prioritize vulnerabilities based not only on CVSS scores, but also on business impact, data sensitivity, regulatory obligations, and threat intelligence. A purely technical view will never give you the full risk picture. The remediation or mitigation phase is where you take action. Depending on the situation, you might patch a vulnerability, reconfigure a system, apply a virtual patch, or implement compensating controls. Your goal is to either eliminate the risk entirely or bring it down to an acceptable level that aligns with business tolerance. Finally, in the validation and reporting phase, you circle back to confirm that the remediation efforts worked. You rescan, retest, and validate that vulnerabilities have truly been closed. Just as importantly, you report these results clearly to leadership, demonstrating risk reduction, operational wins, and the maturity of your security program. And then, you start all over again. Continuous, proactive vulnerability management is your real goal. You are not building a reactionary fire drill process. You are building a living, breathing system that constantly seeks out weaknesses, addresses them thoughtfully, and makes your organization stronger with every cycle. Now, let's take your vulnerability management approach a step deeper. To make your process even more actionable and operationalized, you should apply the PIACT framework, a simple yet powerful way to structure your work and keep everything business-focused and manageable. You begin with prioritize. At this stage, you focus on understanding and ranking vulnerabilities based on business risk, not just technical severity. It's not enough to chase high CVSS scores blindly. You must ask how a vulnerability impacts critical systems, regulatory obligations, or customer trust. Prioritization ensures that your effort goes where it matters most. Next, you move into investigate. You dig deeper into each prioritized vulnerability to uncover important context. You assess whether there is an active exploit circulating in the wild, how exposed your asset is, what dependencies might be affected, and whether exploitation could trigger a broader cascade of risks. Investigation allows you to work smarter, not harder. Once you have the right information, you act. This is where you execute your remediation, patching, configuration changes, or apply compensating controls. You take decisive steps based on your investigation and prioritization, acting without first prioritizing and investigating waste resources. PIACT ensures your actions are both targeted and timely. After taking action, you then confirm. Here, you validate that the vulnerability has been properly addressed. You rescan, retest, or otherwise check to ensure the remediation is truly effective. Never assume a fix worked. Confirmation protects your credibility and ensures that you're not carrying hidden risks forward. Finally, you track. You document the entire life cycle, from discovery to prioritization, action, confirmation, and lessons learned. You maintain clear, auditable records for reporting to leadership, for regulatory compliance if needed, and for improving your processes over time. Tracking closes the loop and makes your vulnerability management program truly sustainable. The beauty of the PIACT process is that it gives you a clean, structured, business-aligned way to manage vulnerabilities. Instead of feeling overwhelmed by hundreds of findings, you work through a simple, repeatable process that ensures you are consistently reducing real risk, not just checking boxes. As a security leader, your role is not to personally manage every vulnerability. You simply can't and shouldn't. Your real responsibility is to design, enforce, and continually improve the vulnerability management process. You need to ensure that your teams have the right tools for scanning, tracking, and patching so they can work efficiently and effectively. You must guide them to focus their energy on business-critical assets first, rather than getting lost in low-risk issues that won't move the needle. You also need to make sure that remediation timelines are clearly communicated to operations and IT teams, aligning expectations across the organization. When high-risk findings emerge, you must be ready to escalate them quickly and confidently to executives, ensuring that leadership understands what's at stake and why swift action may be necessary. Beyond the technical mechanics, you are responsible for fostering a culture where vulnerability management is seen as a shared organizational responsibility, not just something the security team handles in isolation. And just as importantly, you must report upward in a way that frames the bigger picture, showing leadership not just how many vulnerabilities exist, but how your program is continuously reducing real business risk over time. Your leadership makes the difference between vulnerability management being a chaotic, reactive task or a disciplined, business-aligned strength. So, what's your leadership takeaway? If you take one thing away from this lecture, let it be this. Vulnerability management is a continuous leadership process, not a technical project. By applying a structured lifecycle and leveraging the PIACT process, you can make your vulnerability management program efficient, business-aligned, and resilient against both today's and tomorrow's threats.